You know what I heard? The Miami Dolphins don't believe in Santa. They don't believe in running the ball either, which works just fine for me. Welcome to another episode of Lombardi Time Brews. Yes, the Green Bay Packers pulled off a Christmas miracle today, winning down in downright frigid, according to them, 47-degree Miami. But the 7-8 Green Bay Packers making the Miami Dolphins fall to 8-7, and very, very miraculously keeping their playoff chances alive. Before I react to the game itself, let's cover that quickly. So yes, the Green Bay Packers, now at 7-8, find themselves with a true opportunity. This isn't a pipe dream anymore. They have an actual opportunity to make the playoffs this year. Well, and how do they do that? Obviously, they have to win their final two games. Yes, next week against Minnesota, the following week against Detroit. They have to win both of these games. Now, both of them are taking place at home, very luckily for Green Bay, where we know that Matt LaFleur, while undefeated in December, not so much undefeated in January. However, the game still occurring in Lambeau is a good thing for Green Bay, no doubt. But Minnesota, Detroit, obviously Green Bay has to win both of those games. They still need a little bit of help, but given that this weekend was perfect for Green Bay, they don't need as much as they did. So what they really need now is they need Washington to only lose one of their two games. Or the Giants have to lose both of theirs. Again, Green Bay Packers must win out over their final two and have Washington lose one of their last two, or the Giants lose both. What games do those two teams have on tap? Well, the Washington Commanders next are against the Cleveland Browns, who are now eliminated from playoff contention, who have not exactly performed well since Deshaun Watson's back. Nonetheless, they got the Browns. Then to close out the season, they have the Dallas Cowboys. Now, what's very interesting for that Week 18 matchup is we do not yet know if the Cowboys are going to need to play their starters in that final game. By all accounts right now, it looks like they're going to be the 5 seed in the playoffs. And if that locks in by Week 18, Big Mike may not need to play all of his starters, of course, making life easier on Washington. So we will see. Either way, Washington has to lose either against the Browns or the Cowboys. For the Giants, because if the Commanders don't lose either one of those games, the Packers' hope still rests with the New York Giants. Now, the Giants, they're going against the Indianapolis Colts next week, and they close out their season at Philadelphia. But again, are we going to run into the same thing where Philadelphia has the 1 seed locked up, which it might not because the Cowboys beat them this weekend? If the Eagles have the 1 seed locked up by that time, are they going to need to play their starters? Well, we don't know, but ultimately, Packers got to win out. Got to have Washington lose 1 or the Giants lose 2. That happens, the Green Bay Packers have found themselves sneaking into the playoffs in 2022. Who'd have thought that a couple weeks ago? So let's take a quick look at the Packers versus Dolphins. How in the hell did the Packers pull this off? Well, number one, massive shout out goes to all of the backups. And by that, I mean the injury replacements. Keyshawn Nixon going out was obviously a huge factor in the game for the Packers, be it on kickoff return, as well as he's been playing a great slot corner as of late. Well, Darnell Savage, yes, the benched Darnell Savage came in and played some, as well as Innis Gaines, filling in for Nixon, both doing a great job. Also, shout out to Zach Tom, who continued to fill in at left tackle admirably for David Bakhtiari, but then also Royce Newman. Yes, when Yash left the game with that shoulder injury, and then I heard that Royce was warming up on the sideline. No Royce Newman. We have sworn this project off, but he came in and he didn't play poorly. Did he play great? No, but he also didn't blow the game like I was initially afraid of, given what we've seen from Royce before, especially at right tackle. So huge shout out to all of the injury replacements. On the whole, though, what really was this game? And this game, truthfully, was the Green Bay Packers season in a nutshell. The bad was bad. And that was the first half. The good was really good. That was the second half. Was the second half perfect? No, absolutely not. But did they do enough? Did they make necessary adjustments? All yes. So the first half of the game, I mean, you had the Packers taking up a lack of time of possession. They were just handing the ball right back to Miami. You had lackluster tackling, especially against Raheem Mostert, which we knew was going to be a problem in this game. Inaccurate deep balls from Rodgers. Enough throws that made everyone just go back and go, what is he doing? It was here again. Inefficient play calling. How about the 4th and 2? And you just knew it was coming. I mean, if you were on Twitter, you saw a whole bunch of people going, shot play. It's 4th and 2. This is what we do. Whether it works or not, this is what we do. And yeah, sure enough, it was 4th and 2. So that means we're going to chuck it 40 yards down the field. We have Aaron Jones. We just don't like him. We have A.J. Dillon. We just don't like him. We'd rather watch Aaron Rodgers just chuck it to nothing instead. So that happened again in the first half. Horrific red zone offense in the first half. Not being able to convert a third down to save their lives. Not being able to stop a third down defensively to save their lives. As well as miscommunications in the secondary, Adrian Amos not being able to tackle Jair Alexander, or Adrian Amos not being able to cover, Jair Alexander not being able to tackle. All the things that have haunted this team all year was right there in the first half. I mean, what, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in the first half had a combined 5 carries for 13 yards. The first half was a mess, and yet somehow they were staying in the game enough. Now all of a sudden switch to the second half, and the run defense suddenly clams up. Huge shout out to Jarran Reed, who made multiple plays in this game, including forcing a fumble. But he was a force to be reckoned with against Raheem Mostert and the Miami running game. So much so that once we got to the actual end of game total, Miami only rushed for 82 yards. Which after the first drive, they were on pace for like 6,000 yards. So huge shout out to Jarran Reed. Huge shout out to the defense for making the adjustment to stop it. The other thing that the defense did quite a bit differently, Tua in half number 1 was 9 of 12 for 229 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 25 yards per completion. Completely and utterly inexcusable. Tua in the second half, 7 of 13, 81 yards. So just a notch over 10 yards of completion there, or actually a little over 11. And he threw 3 interceptions. Razul getting 1, Jair getting 1, and Devondre Campbell all getting 1. The defense was just different. Completely different animal in the second half than it was in the first. Now pair that with an offense that actually played a more complementary style, ran the ball more in the second half, and it wasn't just when they took a lead at the end. They actually committed more to the run. Christian Watson leaving the game with a hip injury, of course that was a detriment to the offense, but what it did was that made them pull everything in, which as we've seen earlier in the year is a massive problem for this offense. Today, they were at least able to keep it efficient enough. Rodgers started throwing in time rather than just chucking bombs. And we saw the offense consume the clock. Their first drive coming out of the half was something like 7.5 minutes. That, when you are going against a high-powered Miami offense and your defense is gasping for breath after giving up 25 yards of completion in the first half, what do you need to do to start the second half? Take up time. And it's exactly what they did. It's exactly what we needed on this Christmas Day. So just to wrap it up here, just a couple quick post-game press conference thoughts. Aaron Jones, the lack of usage of Aaron Jones is completely and utterly inexcusable. So with me saying that, here's an excuse that LaFleur gave. They talked about, I think even Aaron Jones said it, that he got rolled up on his ankle earlier in the game. We know that he's been dealing with a number of soft tissue injuries over the last few weeks. He's gotten the questionable tag for something like 7 straight games. We know he's banged up. He was on the medical table getting tended to when Patrick Taylor had his 20-yard catch. I don't know. I It's really hard to say, right? Because on the one hand, you suit up Aaron Jones, he looks fine, and then all game long you just ignore him. So you're sitting there like, okay, what's wrong? He must have some kind of injury. If Patrick Taylor is getting snaps, then something has to be wrong with Aaron Jones, right? But at the same time, you're continually playing him. You're not playing him to give him 6 touches a game, 8 touches a game. And last week, he had 21. So was this a new injury? I don't know. We may find out more as the week goes on, but still, this periodic lack of usage of Aaron Jones that we have seen be a true pattern this year is disturbing. And we just have not gotten strong enough answers as to why your most talented guy with the ball in his hands continues to not get the ball in his hands. Number 2, Rasul Douglas in his post-game presser was talking about how at halftime, Jerry Gray came in, just cussed them all out, cursed everybody out, and then they suddenly remembered how to play football. Jerry Coordinator, the defensive passing game coordinator, I don't know. This is twice now that Rasul has mentioned that happening. The other time, I believe, was against Chicago just a few weeks ago. We know that Jerry Gray is a very hands-on, very occasionally loud coach. Why? Why is that necessary? This is a must-win game. Like this wasn't just like a week 3 September, we're in Miami, who gives a crap, it's hot, whatever. No, it is Christmas Day in December in the most favorable Miami weather, the second coldest game that they've ever had in Miami for a home game in the regular season. And you just came out miscommunicating and flat and missing and then all of a sudden Jerry Gray had to yell at you to get going. It just doesn't make a world of sense, and whether it be cultural, mental, whatever, it just can't keep happening. They can't just keep on having these god-awful first halves and then getting cursed out, and they're just going, oh, yeah, we should cover now, right? It just can't keep happening. Regardless, in spite of that, they got 3 second-half interceptions. It worked, and now here we are at 7-8 with a very, very realistic chance to make the playoffs. So there you have it. Packers, Dolphins. Packers picking up the win in Miami. I hope everyone has been enjoying their Christmas if you celebrate it. If not, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. I will be back, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I got some family stuff going on. I'm going to enjoy time with my loved ones. But on Tuesday, I will be here with a further breakdown of Packers versus Dolphins. Thanks so much for checking out Lombardi Time Brews. Hope you are having a Merry Christmas. And as always, go Pack Go.